oh my god, I can't be petty anymore. Ruby's good again, maybe. No, that's what I think, actually.
What is RWBY, Wes?
RWBY is an animated series made by Rooster Teeth, which is still a company.
Somehow.
Somehow. I don't know how they're able to continue, like, existing.
Would you say that RWBY is a show about, like, people using gun blades to fight off?
Yes, gun blades to fight off monsters
kaiju, big
with masks.
monsters. Yeah, that's the best description of RWBY that you're gonna get. Gun blades. If you like gun blades, seeing monsters die, and
Cool stuff
in interpersonal relationships that are sometimes good and mostly bad.
But enough for you to, like, ship your favorite stuff and just imagine the rest.
Exactly.
Do the work for the
RWBY
writers.
is the show for you. And if you haven't seen it, well, pause right here. Pause the video. Mute it. Keep it playing in the background. Go watch RWBY and come back and watch this season review for season 8, because we're gonna be talking about some of the things. Spoilers. Yeah, spoilers right out the gate. This is a spoiler talk, and we're gonna be talking about some of our favorite moments from season 8, because we felt, yes, if you know what the first video on our channel was, us calling
Oh my
RWBY.
gosh, that is true. Our first video was hating the last season, or, well, we were kind of positive with that one.
A little bit, not really.
We
too
called
much.
it, yeah.
But now we're going to be talking about season 8, and I feel like it's a complete 180. I really like this
is.
season. I enjoyed it from beginning to end, honestly. Some episodes were kind of but like mostly, honestly, I had a lot of fun with it. I can't wait to see what they do with the next season. I remember we were talking before about how we were going to stop watching RWBY.
Yeah, it's
After watching that, but we had so many discussions about this show. So many discussions about how we thought the way they tried to handle racism was goofy. The way that they tried to handle some of the characters' interpersonal relationships was goofy. Like RWBY, her dad and her mom, all of that. Like, we thought some of that shit was just not
we are
well
probably
executed at all. We were very hard on this show.
Yes.
We were going to drop the hell out of it.
several times.
Yeah. Because season after season, we got trite after trite after trite BS that didn't matter, and showed us or told us that they didn't know what they wanted to do with the rest of the show. But I felt like they had direction this season. The fights didn't just feel like a series of fights that didn't matter. Like these fights, like Winter versus
Cinder or Ironwood?
Ironwood. Winter versus Ironwood,
Yes.
that felt like a capper
great
to their
fight.
relationship. I'm like, yeah. And this dude had the audacity. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah. But, like, we could start where you want to, but to get my, like, overall thoughts, the fact that this season really brought it back for me, the excitement that I felt overall was the same damn I felt for season 3, and everyone loves volume 3, and everyone loves volume 3. It brought it back for me, and obviously it wasn't perfect, but it was more than enough for me to feel more satisfied than I felt with previous volumes. And sometimes they had long stands of episodes, but the whole package we got for this season, I'd say, including season 7 kind of being good setup for this, I could say, or decent setup, it was fulfilling for me. Yeah. I like RWBY again.
Yeah,
I feel safe.
I'm a fan again.
I'm a fan again. But where do you want to start off talking about this volume?
Let's start off with Mr. Oscar Kuhn himself. The man, the only one, the dude that got shot by Ironwood, and the guy that I felt got...
literally fell through the sky.
Yeah, the boy who fell through the sky. He had a lot of development this season. From going from not wanting to trust Ospen to using his magic, his staff, and all of that. Slowly, more and so becoming Ospen, because that's the way it goes. The more he uses his magic, the more
he becomes him.
The more they become one. It's like V from Cyberpunk, for y'all who know what's happening to V in that game. No spoiler.
Yeah, Oscar is a very complicated character because he was poorly introduced, and that's something that's not really contained. They can characterize him, but I think what brought it back is scenes where we get to see maybe just, if you give me a tiny bit, that's a lot. So him lying and trying to navigate his way through, and Oscar said, "You're a lot like me." It tells us Ospen is super manipulative in a lie, which we know.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
So that was nice.
What I like the most about him is the effect that he had on the characters
around him.
Yeah, exactly. The effect that he had on Hazel, the effect that he had on Ospen, the effect that he had on, what's her name? Emerald. Like,
Even
all
Emerald.
Those characters, he was the impetus for all those characters to change in a way, and that was very fun for me to watch, because I honestly didn't think RWBY was gonna go there. Like they were too busy keeping their little dynamic with Cinder and her two
it
little
seemed that the status quo was good.
I really like that. I hope that they don't in later seasons reverse that. I really want her to go up against Cinder at some point, like
Emerald.
To finally break off like
her shackles.
Her shackles. Finally, that. Oh man, I can't wait for that moment. But
bro,
will we get that moment? Only time will tell.
We could pivot to talk about Emerald because we both like what we got from Oscar.
The second character that we're going to be talking about, Emerald, which I felt was a standout character for this season. Only so far as you got to see how the cycle repeats itself in what happened to Cinder.
Yes.
She's kind of doing the same thing, because like she goes to Salem. Salem is doing the same thing that was happening to her, and
she recreates that with
relationship with Emerald and also let's not forget Mercury, because he was kind of there and gone this season, but I think they're setting up something for him too next season. Emerald's gonna have to face Mercury. That's another thing that we kind of failed to think about.
I guess to talk about both of them, what I found interesting about Cinder's backstory, which is like, I could say a piece on that, but I'll just keep it simple. The most interesting thing to me was what it paints about her relationships.
Yeah.
It tells us she can only have a relationship with some type of toxic power dynamic, and Mercury and Emerald both are
she has the little, I said here in my notes that she has the little conditioning thing.
Yeah, she still has that neck scar on her from the necklace.
She repeats the phrase still to this day.
Without you, I'm nothing.
Yeah.
If Emerald said that line, that would be very scary.
That would be scary as fuck.
But Mercury wouldn't fall for that conditioning. Mercury was also someone that came from a toxic family, and Emerald was also someone that came from nothing.
Yeah.
And was like conditioned to that power dynamic. So it's they both had aspects of her, and that's an interesting reflection. And hopefully with Emerald, Mercury, I always like Mercury more than Emerald a bit, because he's never boring on screen, but I like their dynamic. Maybe there'll be conflict. Maybe she can convince him to join, or he'll just refuse that, Kylo Ren style. I don't know.
Speaking on Mercury, I think it's important for us to bring up the theme of this season, which is like the choices that we make when we are fearful, like when fear is the one piloting us. Essentially, I think they showed this with a lot of the characters this season. Like we got to see that with Cinder, we got to see that especially with Ironwood. Everybody in Atlas, because the fear and anxiety and negative emotions draws Grim. So like it was like the whole season was kind of setting up this idea that like the way that Salem wins and the way that she actually beats people is by making them afraid, and the decisions that they make while they're afraid usually
leads to the downfall.
Exactly,
the literal downfall.
Worse. I mean, Mercury is literally doing what he's doing not because he believes in it, but because he's like, yo, like I'd rather be like, what's the saying? Be on the devil's right-hand side instead of in his way. Because I mean, she's literally immortal. Every time we learn that, every time she dies, she just comes back every time.
Yeah,
which is a scary thought. Like,
it'll be pretty insane.
That's probably what broke Ironwood. Like he was like, what do I do? Like I literally can't do anything. Anything I do is literally pointless.
The saddest thing, when she walked to him, she didn't even acknowledge him. Like
bro,
an ant on the ground.
Who are you? Like it would have been the equivalent of you like being Naruto, devoting all your life to getting Sasuke back, and you get to Sasuke and it's like your final battle and he's like, who was you again? Like I forgot about
that. That happened to John actually when he met up with Cinder.
I don't even know you. Oh my god.
He got his hits into Cinder. That's more than we can say about a lot of characters.
That's true. But yeah, Ironwood was also another important character this season. We got to see him. I would say that although a lot of the things that he did was kind of goofy.
Yes.
I don't think anything that he did was outside the scope of the character that they wrote for Ironwood. Like I think everything he did was within the scope of what they set up for him. And especially how his arc ended, like he got nothing at the end of the day. Like everything that he was trying to do,
he got nothing, and Cinder got everything.
Speaking of side characters, we got to talk about the most important one this season.
Yeah, Penny.
Best girl is Winter. Yes. Obviously, that's hands down.
That's the only correct answer.
But coming in second place, we obviously, it's gonna be Penny.
Yes,
I think her whole arc this season was good. I thought it was a little barfy at the beginning because I'm like those emotional moments for me, like without.
I think they worked fine enough.
Yeah, they worked fine enough. When I was first watching it, like when it was first airing, it's like I didn't know what they were setting up. Also, I was like, I kind of felt like her character coming back was kind of like unearned a little bit. And so everything that they did building up on that, I just kind of felt like this kind of feels hollow. But like with what they ended up doing with her, I feel like I was very much wrong about her character progression and what they did, because she ended up being one of the standout stars for this season for me, because I think she became human, bro. Like she completed her arc, and John's poor ass had to kill her. Oh my god.
Yeah, I think another interesting thing about Penny is there was a lot of perception of her, like her being a robot and her coming back didn't ruin like stakes of death to me, because everyone always had the idea that she would, and I'm glad that they brought it back and tried to tell an interesting story with her.
The story of like having too much responsibility and how that can. I think that's the story that they're telling in the Winter Soldier this season with Sam not wanting to take the shield and the mantle of Captain America because of what that role brings and the kind of responsibilities and expectations that role brings. Everybody expects you to be a certain type of way, a certain type of role, to play the role a certain type of way, and everybody has a plan for you, which is what Penny was going through this season. Like everybody had a plan for
you're
her.
right.
Like, even her dad, everybody had a plan for her.
Even Team RWBY
had a plan for her, exactly, and she didn't know what she had to do, because she was like, okay, so I'm trusted with all this responsibility. What's the right choice here? Because anything that she does, if she makes the wrong choice, a lot of people are gonna end up dying. Like that's a lot of responsibility on this person.
And it's sad that like the choices that she made, it was John that was the last person that was like able to like help her make that decision. It's very sad that it came.
That's gonna be another scar on John's. Another redhead.
Another redhead with a name P. She could have been the P in Juniper.
Juniper, right? Like, but
it is very.
Bro, they really gave us that just to snatch it away.
I know. It is. I guess every redhead is a good character.
Yeah. So far, right? Like, because Pyrrha.
Well, no, Adam's redheaded, so never mind. No.
Oh no.
But we're singing praises here. I just think
we are singing praises.
Penny was able to even win me over, because when I just think about it, it's nice that she had those emotional connections and she was able to make her own choices and just be like, take us to dark places, but still feel right. Like she's this pure bubbly person and she's asking people to like kill her because she feels like that's the correct decision, and it's
the decision that she finally made for herself too.
It's very sad.
And it's so dark.
And it's like, I think her goodbye to Winter as well was just very oof.
I feel like this season is just another season of everybody just doing what they think is right, and then all of that just clashing.
Yeah, it's
at the end of the day, everybody's just trying to save people.
Yeah.
Except for Salem, obviously.
Yeah.
She's just trying to kill herself. she's the selfish one there.
She is a death seeker. That was pretty intense.
She's like, I just want to die.
I definitely likes a lot of the scenes we get from her. Like, maybe she's not particularly interesting, but it's so fun.
The way she plays off other people,
yes. Yeah. It's like everyone's just putty to her.
It's like Hordak.
It's just so funny how she just completely rosses the main cast, completely like intimidates Oscar. It's pretty scary. Feel bad for the poor boy.
Yeah. She got killed so many times.
I know.
Yo.
It was great.
It was great. Yeah, it was a great moment. We got many great moments this season, and I especially like the conclusion of the season, because I expected another drawn out battle, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, that didn't have any consequences, and we just get to see the characters just meet up next season. Nope, bro, they got a plan. They executed it, and the way that they executed it too, like not telling the audience initially, and then like roping us into the story of that they're trying to weave with the staff and all of that. I thought all of that was interesting, and the Penny stuff. Oh my god.
Let's not forget we did that with the villain's perspective. They had their plan on top of the hero's plan, told in the same way using a relic.
Yep.
That was clever writing. I'll give them that. I really like that we had that 1-2 flip where they both had plans and they went against each other. And there are ways where both of their plans succeeded and failed. I like when they were talking to Ambrose with the Staff of Creation. They went in with a plan like, all right, it's a genie. We got to deal with these loopholes. Let's try to manipulate it to work for us. And in some ways that worked, but in other
ways it didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, with it only being a one-way door. So it's very interesting that the final felt different. And yeah, it was a battle, but I think the battle, how it started in the setup for it
was good.
Yeah.
It was actually let me care about what was happening as opposed to being some mindless thing. Because had it ended with just the beach whale fighting inside,
yeah, it would have been forced rather than organic.
Exactly. Because like this one, they actively chose. They were active characters in that they actively chose to go about this.
They're
plan.
pushing things forward rather
Pushing
than waiting
plot.
things to happen.
Exactly, waiting for the plot to happen to them and just reacting to it. I thought that was very interesting. This was a very, you said it while we were watching it, but this season felt like watching like an arc of One Piece. Like
yes,
it felt very like every side character got to play a
place
role
in the world,
and they felt like everybody wasn't just doing things to just stay busy. It felt like everybody had a goal and was trying to get to it, especially Cinder.
Or even the story.
The Cinder season. This was the Cinder season.
I don't like Cinder, by the way, but I say this is her season.
We both don't like season. We both don't like Cinder. We both don't like
and
that
she
girl.
needed that for the longest of time.
She really needed her season.
I made this, I guess, One Piece compares. That's high praises because I love One Piece, but I'll say it was great for RWBY too because this was legit, I think, one of the most coolest and creative ideas that happened with the show. The passage to Vacuo that they made. I mean, yes, we know they're going to Vacuo because that's where the plot will probably be because they haven't gone to Vacuo yet. But that's not a big deal for me because that idea of the divide of Atlas and Mantle was a big theme throughout the entire past 2 seasons. And creating a portal so all of them have to come together and rock one path. It was thematically interesting in a really organic way that felt that didn't come out of nowhere for the show. Like, oh, relics are established. You know, it's the staff of creation. We see what he could do, and he created this really thoughtful, interesting scenario that had both an interesting setting, it tied everything together.
And it also had, it wasn't just all sunshine and roses. It also had like a downside, which is if you fall off, who knows what's gonna happen to you?
You go down the rabbit hole. You're in Wonderland.
Yeah, they ended up in Wonderland.
That's my idea, since RWBY loves fairy tales.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I feel like people who were waiting for the Snyder Cut and were apprehensive would be like, holy shit, the Snyder Cut's good. That's how I feel about this season. Because I didn't have any expectations or like reasons to hate the Snyder Cut because I just thought Justice League was average.
I expected this season to suck. So
yeah.
This was actually miles above what I expected. This was actually a good season. So I can't wait to see what they do more. Let us know, guys. What did you think about this season? Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Who was your favorite character? Of course, for us, we're gonna give you the ranking of best girl. I know you waited for it this whole video. Come on, bro. We were gonna do this whole time. The ranking for us is Winter, Penny, and nobody at third.
I was worried about that. I was like, who's at third? Do we agree or disagree?
Nah, we ain't got nobody at third. But who do you think is best girl?
I think RWBY's actually at third for best girl.
No.
Yes.
No.
If not her, who?
No one. Like, nobody gets that title. Everybody else was just average in a good way. They were okay.
They weren't average.
And then there were people who were worse.
There was someplace.
I don't think anybody else earns that third for me. But for you, who do you think?
Because they're that good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. But for best nigga, best bro, best guy, win for me. It's
for me, it was Hazel, Ren, and
Oscar?
Yeah, Oscar. Yeah. Oscar.
Yeah. Same thing. Ren, Hazel, Oscar. Just opposite flip for you.
But let us know what you guys think of the season. Let us know who's your favorite character, and are you even watching RWBY? Like, how many of you guys started in season 1 and started like watching it way back when, and are still watching it?
Watched it because a friend put you on it, and
had
to go through that. Well, this is kind of weird, but let's see where it goes. And
honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I was watching the first season, like, what was this, 2015? Like, how long ago was this? God damn,
the show started in 2013.
Jesus. Yeah, we've been talking too long. I've been Off Track Seb, and as always, we try to bring you guys videos about, things that we're interested in, animes that we're watching, TV shows that we're watching, and today we were watching RWBY. It was fun, entertaining. Season 8 is great. Go watch that. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. Recommend it to a friend. And it's not bait, exactly. Bait.
Last season was bait. This season was great.
It's great, and we didn't say it in the last video because we forgot. But this is great.
It's been a good time. OfftrackWes signing out, I suppose.
Peace.